Crypto Trader is proudly brought to you by eToro. Discover a simpler way to trade and invest in cryptocurrencies and more.
This week's edition of Crypto Trader comes to you from the 2019 Asia Blockchain Summit here in Taiwan. With the markets going up and down, the big highlight here is the duel between Nouriel and the legend himself, Arthur Hayes. But that's not all. The markets are going up and down, so we're going to speak to traders, fund managers, and find out where they think the market's going. Don't miss this episode. Let's go. The who's who in Asia are here. CZ and his BINANCEians, Justin Sun and the Tron Hype Machine, a powerhouse of funds deploying capital, top traders from some of the biggest shops around the world, and like last year, a host of government officials touting innovative blockchain legislation.
Today, it will improve the entire financial system.
And of course, the big event, the much talked about Tangle in Taipei. As always, the Crypto Trader team has all angles covered like no other show in the world. Everyone's asking, where is the market going?
What are you thinking of the market right now?
Most traders, of course, say the market's bullish. After last week's short-lived highs, will Bitcoin retest the upper $8,000 range? Is the recent market volatility here to stay?
So there's going to be a huge amount of volatility in, I think, this $10,000 to $20,000 range.
Will the market sit sideways and just chop?
It's as choppy as it gets right now.
Or is there an up-and-coming ultra?
To be honest, I'm pretty confident we will.
If you really wanted no volatility, then you would go and trade the S&P 500.
Let's actually kick off by asking the once Wall Street derivatives trader and the creator of the controversial 100x leverage, Arthur Hayes, what he thinks of all the market movements. Now, let's talk about BitMEXC. Yeah. You're an ex-banker, you're an ex-derivatives guy. What brought you into crypto and specifically into derivatives in crypto?
So I'm as you said, a derivatives trader, and when I discovered Bitcoin and saw what the potential it could do for the human society, I thought, well, for financial inclusion and all these other things, nothing changes except every 200 to 300 years. And so at these inflection points in how human society changes value between each other is massive chaos. Business models go out of business and companies ascend. And I wanted to be one of those companies that was at the turn of the way that we move value between each other. And that's what I saw in Bitcoin. Now what can I do in this industry? I know derivatives, so I thought, let me build a place where people can trade leveraged financial products because that's what I know.
But there are derivatives and there are derivatives. A normal derivative doesn't have 100x leverage. And it seems like the key product that you've got is the 100x leverage on the perpetual swap. Tell me the secret sauce behind that specific product.
So the number one thing that we're very good at is taking complex financial derivatives and hitting them with a simple stick and coming up with a product that we can actually give to our retail consumer base and allow them to trade intelligently. So this is a very exotic derivative in the back end. We were able to package it in a way that retail traders felt that they were trading on margin. And that's brought immense liquidity to the market. And we're able to allow people to hedge larger amounts of risk because we've created such a speculative beast of a product.
Okay, now let's talk about Bitcoin and the market. So you called the bear market, I won't forget, because you were actually on CNBC. And you got on CNBC and you said, I think this price is going lower. And that was when Bitcoin was at around $5,000, and it did go lower. Where are we today? We've had this bull run. We've got to about 14,000. We're back down to about 11,000, give or take. Where are we going from here?
So I think we're going to chop between 10 to 20,000 for the rest of the year. I know some people think we're going to blow past 20K, but if we think about how long it took for us to get from 1,000 to 10,000 in 2017, that took 11 months. So if we're going to hit another major milestone, basically getting back above the high water mark, it's not going to be easy. It's not just going to be, okay, we went through 10,000 and now, a month later we're going to be at 20,000. So there's going to be a huge amount of volatility in, I think, this $10,000 to $20,000 range. And I think we exit above 20,000 in early 2020.
And so you're not buying this thing of going to 50,000 and 100,000 and this whole parabolic move?
Well, it could happen in a parabolic move. I just don't think it's going to happen in a 6-month time frame. And one of the major trends that I see driving this is central bank money printing. Now, as the Fed probably cuts at the end of the year, the PBOC is doing triple R cuts, ECB is going to have to continue LRTO and all these programs, this money is not going to make its way really into the crypto ecosystem until it finances more money-losing startups like Uber and Lyft and all these massive public companies. Once people get done with those, then they'll move down to the crypto ecosystem, and that's where I see Q1 2020 is when we really start getting the upward cycle.
Institutional money or retail money?
I still think this is a retail-led phenomenon. If institutions cared about Bitcoin, they would be trading on the CME. The CME would be destroying volume for all the other exchanges. That's not happening. The institutions aren't here. There's no real clear value proposition.
We kept saying that we didn't have enough custodian, we didn't have the right infrastructure. We've got custodians now, we've got infrastructure now. Are the institutions going to come and play with us?
I think so, but who cares if they come and play with us or not? This industry is fine being a retail-led phenomenon.
What about altcoins? Are we going to see an altcoin run?
I mean, absolutely, they'll rally off the bottom. Will most of these coins regain their all-time highs in 2017? I don't think so. Most of them were crap, and they'll continue to be crap, so it's not going to happen. Now, will it be a new type of vertical of digital token or coin or protocol that becomes sexy and it rips? I absolutely think so. Do I know what that is? I don't. If you're holding it from the all-time highs of 2017, you're probably not going to pare back those losses, but possibly if you're bottom fishing, you can make a good amount of money in an altcoin rally.
Arthur, it's been a great pleasure having you on our show. And just remember that if you are watching us on YouTube and you want to watch the full interview with Arthur Hayes, click the subscribe button now. That's Arthur Hayes, and don't worry, you will see parts of the debate coming up later in the show. For now though, let's catch up with CZ, who's just launched Binance's own futures exchange that some say could rival BitMEXC one day.
So Binance is the first exchange to do exchange-based airdrops and eventually helping with IEOs.
We got straight down to business, talking about the DEX, futures, and a surprise charity announcement we're about to make. Let's talk about the DEX, because you brought it up.
Sure.
It was your big initiative. Last year when we spoke, it was the big news that you're moving to a DEX. Now you've launched, a lot of projects are moving to the DEX. Are you happy with where you are in that chain?
Yes, I think I'm very happy. To be honest, the adoption is so much faster than I expected. We have like 40-something projects listed.
And everybody wants to list. Everybody that we speak to here says, we're moving to do this thing on the Binance DEX.
So I think the Binance DEX offers many advantages. I mean, in terms of technology, it's faster, cheaper, etc. But also in terms of economics, when you're on Binance DEX, we help you market. We do a lot of service around it to help promote the growth of Binance DEX. We're one of the proponents of Binance DEX.
So innovating. And today you unveiled your futures platform, which looked like it was in testnet, but actually looking quite good. Tell us a bit about that.
So yes, we've been working on margin and futures at the beginning of the year, and margin is already fully live now. But the margin leverage is quite small still. But what's missing is the
small compared to BitMEXC.
Because yes, so we do max 3x right now. We'll increase it over time.
So when 200x?
I'm not sure yet. But futures is a different type of trading, and that serves a different type of users. But having that combination of spot, margin, and futures on the same platform, accessing to the same pool of funds, so you don't have to trade on BitMEXC and then move your money back to Binance for spot. And the withdrawal on some exchanges, they only do once a day, which is quite slow. So it actually hampers a lot of the trading. We think by providing a more complete suite of trading products, we can actually improve liquidity for this market.
Now, the USA has been quite a sticking point, and like most exchanges, you guys made an announcement a while back that you're going to change your interface for US users to limit the amount of tokens that they can trade. Are you worried about what's going on in the USA? A lot of the critics are saying, CZ is scared of the USA, he doesn't come and talk in the USA. Are you scared of the USA? Are you worried about the regulators there? Are you worried that with all you're doing all around the world, you may be transgressing some kind of US laws?
So I think we're very clear that we're fully compliant with every regulator. So we never step over our boundaries. But we want to give an option out there. So we partner with BAM Trading Services in the US. So we hope to be able to provide our service there.
So I've got two more questions for you, and I think these are the two most important questions that we've got here today.
Sure.
The first thing is, are we going to see an altcoin run? We've seen a Bitcoin run and a BNB run, actually, much more than a Bitcoin run. Do you think that we're actually going to get an altcoin run now?
To be honest, I'm pretty confident we will, because I think the industry is evolving. We're now seeing real projects with real blockchains coming out. So in 2017, there's all these ICOs. But now in 2019, we're seeing who has the product. So it's
going to be a very selective run of products of tokens that actually have real world use cases.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be like the old run where we could just throw a dart at the board and that token would go up.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be every project, every altcoin going up at the same time, right? So there's so many altcoins that there'll be selective ones that are strong that will go up. So we're going to see more stronger projects go up.
So CZ, Binance is my biggest holding at the moment, and I have to disclose that.
Yeah.
You showed an initiative there which really touched my heart, and that was that through using BNB, you could feed an African child for 76 days. Tell us a little bit about that initiative.
So I've always wanted to do philanthropy and social impact work. I was very lucky to bring Helen Hai on board. She's super experienced in this area, and she's super driven. So now we have 10 to 100 schools that we are helping in Africa. We're launching the new tampon project in Africa.
And you said if we can give one BNB, that gives a child food for 76 days, but that means that the child can actually go to school.
Yeah.
And I come from Africa, so I know what the problem is. How do people get involved? How can we get involved? And
so the easiest way to get involved is to go to Binance.charity, and that's the Binance charity platform, and then you can donate that directly. And if you have new ideas, we're always happy to listen.
So I'm definitely going to get involved. I'm going to take some of my Binance holdings. I'm going to take 500 of my BNB tokens. I'm going to give it to this cause because, one, I'm a big fan of the man, and two, I'm a big fan of the charity.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Pleasure having you on Crypto Trader again. Now, this is one of the things we think sets crypto apart from all other industries. It's peer-to-peer, one-to-one. It's open and engaging. CEOs mixing it up with the community. A truly special community disrupting things, we'd say, for the better. Asia Blockchain Summit 2019, a lot of hype, and especially about the big debate, Arthur Hayes versus Nouriel Rabini. But let's cross over to Lindsay Joo on the floor to find out what traders are thinking.
Thanks, man. We just finished up last week in San Francisco at Bitcoin 2019, and now we're here at the Asia Blockchain Summit. The market was up above 14K, then it bounced down under 10, and now it's back up at 11.2. Is the volatility here to stay? Let's find out. Is the volatility here to stay?
Going up.
Going up. And are we going up? Are we going down? What are we seeing?
It's been pretty volatile. I mean, yesterday we saw, it looked like a lot of stops were taken out and we went below 10,000. It's 11,200.
11.2,
I mean, this volatility, it's unbelievable. You can't find this in any other market.
I think it's here to stay for this year at least. I think we see all-time highs by the end of the year for sure.
All-time highs at what? What's your prediction?
35,000.
Here's the guys at Hero, and as they say, Jayo.
I think there's a huge amount of optimism in the space, obviously. A lot of people are excited about all the usage of Tether that's going on these days, and obviously the huge wild swings that are being caused by all the derivatives, obviously us being one of them.
I think it has been undervalued until now, and I hope we'll reach more than 30,000 by the end of the year.
Undervalued on the way up. Thank you.
On the way up.
And what are you thinking of the market right now?
Well, it's very good. I mean, BTC dropped a little bit, but still, I think that the whole IO space is very good. Harmony is a really good example of that. Projects are a lot more solid now.
Keep rising?
Yeah, from what I see, and recently, especially the last 2 weeks, new money came in. That's what we see in our OTC desk and at Algos.
Got it. On the way up because of the new money. So, what do you think about the drop in Bitcoin?
Well, I think that honestly it's natural. When you see, from 9 to 14K, almost 14K, it's natural that you're going to see a sharp correction.
We're not going to see stability.
Not anytime soon, no.
Okay.
Definitely not.
And what's really exciting?
Well, for us, because we are mainly focusing on data security solutions based on blockchain. So for us, it is more the question on how to use blockchain in the real economic environment. It is quite tough because people know that blockchain is going to be the technology of the future, but it's still a problem of the method, how to apply blockchain in already existing data structures.
What are you seeing in the market right now?
So I think
we officially kind of kick off the bull market, I will say it's spring, March. It's still kind of cold, but I think I start seeing a lot of interest coming in. And I think those interests are coming in from like big corporates.
I think the companies are like thriving. The ones that are left are really, they're looking at use cases that make sense, and it's getting more mature. The technology is getting more mature. People are getting more mature, so that's a good thing.
What's your take?
Right now it's up. I'm really excited. Bitcoin is varying a lot these days, but I think that's just also because it's gone up, right? So 1,000 down, 1,000 up, a smaller percentage as to before.
Where do you think we're headed next?
I think we're going all the way to the moon.
All the way to the moon. All right, let's take it away and see Rand back upstairs with the headliners.
And that's what the all-important retail sector is saying. But now it's time to take it up a notch. Let's talk to some top traders, some former Wall Street guys, high finance, real traders. What's an episode of Crypto Trader without talking to traders? And gentlemen, if I'm looking at my screen, Bitcoin is now hitting $11,471. Rob, so you think it's going to hover around here? I'm looking at you. What do you think? $11,500. Are we going to see this parabolic move to 20,000?
I don't think so. I think we're still not seeing like new people coming into the space. So I think what we'd like to see is like move around these levels between 8 and 12 and see what happens.
Are we expecting a correction anytime soon?
I don't think I see a particular one, but I mean, who knows? Things have been super volatile, and let me tell you one thing, I'm not sleeping these days.
So you're not sleeping. What are you doing? Are you trading? And if you're trading, what are you trading?
Yeah, so we do a ton of quantitative trading and arbitrage, and with the volatilities we're seeing in markets, the liquidations all over the place, just the price dislocations, there's just things to do nonstop.
What are you seeing? You're on an over-the-counter market. Are you seeing a lot more demand?
So I think, case in point is it broke 10K and it came sort of right back. So previously I would say there were more stop loss hunters trying to bash these resistance support levels. That does seem to form a pretty solid support level, and I do expect that to probably continue. Does it go high from here? I don't know, man. Like we just checked 13K and it didn't really have too much steam up there. So until we see a fresh catalyst, I think it'll be quite tough.
Is this run all about Bitcoin? Have we forgotten about altcoins? And we saw Chainlink make an announcement, and Chainlink really ran up. Guys, what is the next Chainlink?
Well, that's $1 million question, right? I think the altcoins, there is no real fundamental analysis here because everybody has to agree on it. And in that regards, I think that'll be the catalyst when you actually see people get involved back into the altcoins. And there's been some pretty solid exits too, like Carry Protocol. There was a bit of a fumble when it exited because there was only one venue, but Algo ran 240. So I definitely see the altcoins generating returns. It'll get people back in the FOMO mode.
Great, gentlemen, thank you very much, and let's hope for more volatility and more dopamine in the week ahead. So these are the big traders here in Taiwan, and if you fancy yourself as a trader, stay tuned to Crypto Trader because soon we're going to be launching our very own trading competition with a big cash prize at the end. Stay listening. From the traders, let's go to the fund managers. There was an all-star panel here with the heads of Kinetic, FBG, Polychain, and 1KX.
We're sort of token maximalists.
Funds that could really steer the market if they wanted to. So Lasse, we've gone past the bear market and we're into this bull market and everyone's smiling again. But you've been smiling right through the bear market. In fact, if I remember correctly, you told me you were one of the best performing long-only funds right now.
So we have a very strong thesis about tokens, and we invested very actively in token networks throughout the bear market. So they have obviously been very cheap and very discounted, mainly because the rest of the market all of a sudden panicked and thought tokens are useless. And so we basically loaded up in the bear market, continued to invest with the thesis as before, and it looks like this is paying out now already.
We think that token networks are really going to win over for-profit companies for large networks.
So even when the bear market was happening, you kept your thesis and you invested in tokenized protocols. You didn't change your thesis at all. Were you investing in listed tokenized protocols that had become very cheap, or were you looking for those that hadn't hit the market yet?
We did both. So we did some primary investments, meaning that usually first money into a team that is looking to build protocols and blockchains. We also invested in some listed assets. One for them, for example, being IDEX, which is a fantastic decentralized exchange token network. It has a fantastic token model.
Do you believe in this thesis that DEXs are actually going to come up again? Because we haven't seen the volumes.
Yes, so I think there's two things about that. A, volumes in crypto, you have to be very careful, right? And this is actually where I agree with Mr. Rubini here, that most of the volume actually listed on exchanges isn't there.
Mr. Rubini,
That's
a big statement.
It's a big statement, and I got to give him that. I also agree with Arthur saying that good products at the end of the day win, and decentralized exchanges are the inherently better product. You cannot lose your money. You have control over the private keys. You have control over your assets. You cannot lose it. It cannot get hacked. Like every exchange has been hacked, and it's just a matter of time before they get hacked again. Or they can run away and gamble the customer funds away like they did on QuadriGrax, right?
All right, so which other tokens or protocols did you invest in during the bear market that gave you the returns that you've had?
We also invested in a project called Nexus Mutual. It's a insurance mutual on Ethereum. We're super excited about that because insurance have always been, we felt, a prime use case of blockchains. We hadn't seen a project that really takes the abilities of blockchains and then reinvents in an industry.
One more that you guys bought cheap in the bear market and are now smiling about.
We actually doubled down our position on Arweave. That's a fantastic project that we've been involved with from the early days.
It's a file storage project.
It's a decentralized file storage project with a focus on immutability, meaning that you store something there and you have very, very strong mathematical guarantees that it'll be there for the next 100 years. Incredibly powerful because it's something that wasn't possible before. And then it even gets cheaper than you originally bought it, so that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, cheaper than you originally bought it, and that's the point here. That's the point. Buy low, then even lower, and then sell high. But also the point is bringing new users into the ecosystem. Last week we profiled rewards protocol Lolly, and this week Lindsay talked to XL Travel, a travel site app with over 500,000 users that can use crypto to easily pay for their travel.
Where do you see this going next year?
So our vision is say that can we create a actual real functional use case where people can actually use their crypto, and travel space is the fantastic space to be in. So right now we have operations in over 14 countries. We also want to get into BNB model, right? We'll be able to get end users to also contribute content on our platform.
So it's about travel guests being able to monetize. That's the disruption in the travel industry?
Exactly. So typically, when you think of travel, you talk of expenses, but here what we're trying to do is we talk about opportunity to earn. You can earn from contributing content, you can earn from contributing your own property as a BNB. At the same time, every time you travel on our platform, you're also earning crypto as cashbacks.
And tell me what the edge is with Excel Trip versus something like Marriott points.
But once you receive a token or a crypto on our platform, it's not just you're tied up to use only in our platform because it's a crypto token. As and when more and more use cases get adopted, you can use the same crypto at different locations. If you look at the hotel online travel industry today, is almost 70% of that is controlled by one or two players. We came into this industry truly believing in the true values of decentralization, believing it the real idea of it is giving the power back to users, right? And really bring crypto into mainstream.
Also riding high was Taiwan's local and the conference organizer, Andrew Fei of Obi.io. So this is Andrew Fei, and he's the founder of this conference. He's the organizer of the conference. We were in Taipei exactly a year ago. It was a bear market. Bitcoin hovered around $6,000 and sentiment was shaky.
Thank you for coming here.
We toured the capital, looked at top local projects, and met Congressman Jason Su, who was then championing blockchain regulation right here in Taiwan.
For the past 2 years, I have been working and advocating an open, progressive, and fair environment for blockchain and cryptocurrency.
This year, we still don't have regulatory clarity. But on the heels of the G20, officials like Jason, especially given Facebook's entry to crypto, are trying to clear the way. It's been a year and a lot's happened in a year.
A lot has happened.
And especially in the last month, we've got LibraCoin who's come out and basically made a statement that says, we're launching in 2020. What does this do for you as a regulator?
Yeah, that's a very bold step, I think, for a platform like Facebook. And it's also a wake-up call to the industry that when the mainstream move to the crypto space, and I think we'll be seeing more regulated measures coming out from the authorities. So we see, the U.S. Congress calling for a hearing, and the EU Parliament also calling for Facebook to stop the development. But me, as a crypto congressman, I think this is a good boost to the industry. I think for the longest time, this industry has a problem of being recognized by the mainstream. But if this Libra thing can make everyone know the actual use for the cryptocurrency, I think it will do good for everyone.
Does this put pressure on you to get your crypto regulations up to date? Now there's this global business with 2.2 billion customers, which are now going to have cross-border transactions. What do you think the other regulators are thinking?
I think what we need right now is jurisdictional harmonization. What we've seen is a lot of disparities between different jurisdictions. So I think that's why I moved to create the Global Blockchain Legislative Council. It's a council that formed by 8 countries' legislators that we share the best practices and the regulatory improvements on the blockchain and the crypto space. And also in the G20 summit that has just concluded 3 days ago in Osaka, we discussed the FedHub's latest ruling on regulating the virtual asset service providers. So I think this is really a time for the service providers to really work with the regulators to come together to develop a sustainable environment.
The big questions are, who won the debate and what were the most pertinent points? Mike, you were in there and I saw you taking a whole lot of notes.
Typing feverishly.
Who won the debate?
So not only me, but the broader block team actually felt like Nouriel came out the winner in this debate. And it was surprising. Arthur is more of a market structure individual, and so he wasn't really ready to get into that sort of technical debate. Even though, by the way, I don't believe Nouriel could argue his points either from a technical basis.
Okay, now, if you were to score this like a boxing judge.
Oh, wow, okay.
How would you score the fight?
Yeah, I would say Nouriel won. Nouriel Rubini won the debate.
So Nouriel Rubini won the debate?
Yeah.
Where do you think Arthur went wrong if you say that Nouriel won the debate?
I wouldn't say it was just anything wrong here. It was just the argument as presented by Nouriel Rubini was very, very strong.
It was quite rough out there. What do you think? Who do you think won that debate?
It's hard to tell. I think there's winning for different audiences, right? If you're Rubini really is like a Trump-style bully, so he just keeps repeating the same swear words. He's very vulgar. It's hard to believe that he really is a professor at the NYU. I mean, he's really like on the Fox News level, to be honest. And so I feel very strongly about this.
I'm glad we're on CNBC and not Fox.
Yes.
Who do you think was the overall winner?
I think that Nouriel just smashed Arthur. I think that he won in a knockout.
In a knockout?
Yeah, in the first round.
So who won the debate, Rubini or Arthur Hayes?
Probably Rubini won because he is great at debating, but that doesn't always mean that you're right.
Only time will tell who's going to be right.
So that's it from the Asia Blockchain Summit 2019 right here in Taiwan. It's had all the makings of a great conference. We had a duel, we had traders telling us where the market's going, and the fund managers telling us what they're investing in. Next week, it's back to the studio in New York City. Until then, I'll be on Twitter at CryptoManRun, and you should trade well, my friends.